What's up everyone? So in today's video I'll be discussing Gears of War, its support for DirectX 12, Esram and the extra processing power of Xbox One S. Stay tuned for more. So Digital Foundry has published an interview with Mike Rayner, who is a technical director at the coalition, which obviously is responsible for the Xbox One and Windows 10 PC exclusive Gears of War 4. Now, the interview is rather lengthy, so actually you can go and check that yourselves for more details and stuff, and I will put the link in the description below. However, the most important and interesting topics they were talking about were obviously the DirectX 12 support for the game, ESRAM, and they actually clarified a little bit about the Rod Ferguson comments regarding extra processing power of Xbox One S. So let's start with DirectX 12, maybe support for the Gears of War. They actually said that they've been working, okay, let me quote, right? So the coalition then, working closely with Microsoft's internal 3D DirectX 12 dev team, transitioned the engine fully to DirectX 12 on Xbox One. And this again boosted performance greatly for us, and there is still potential to push the engine even further under DirectX 12. DirectX 12 has allowed us to increase performance by giving us more direct control over the hardware, simplifying the driver layer, and allowing us to make fully informed and optimal decisions on how to manage graphics resources. So it basically confirms every bit of sort of information we've heard about DirectX 12 so far, that it obviously, if implemented fully and exclusively, so we're talking about the proper full DirectX 12 implementation within the game's engine, then obviously you've got pretty good performance increases. But as I said, the game needs to be fully optimized for DirectX 12. You will not really do that with a patch DirectX 12 patch to DirectX 11 game, really, right? So this is what they've done. They actually they created an engine for this game which is full DirectX 12, right, engine, which is good because that's the only really way to take a full advantage of DirectX 12. And it's good to hear that, because at the end of the day we really want this API to take advantage of the hardware we are using to its fullest, really, right? Now now another thing is the ESRAM, right? They've been talking about the ESRAM and the fact that the ESRAM for many developers is basically a pain to use because it needs additional optimization. And really, if you really want to take a full advantage of Xbox One, and obviously you want to keep the good performance in the games and high resolution as well, you need to utilize the ESRAM to its full. Now, so what they actually said was that ESRAM management, when done right, is not super complicated, but it is certainly key to achieving optimal bandwidth performance on the Xbox One. The simplest methods are the best, as it often turns out. We have reached a point where ESRAM allocations and memory aliasing is performing well for us. So obviously they've achieved this with a bit of an optimization, but you need to spend some time on it. So it's all about optimization, and that's why some of the developers, especially when they are obviously under pressure of the upcoming release date, they don't really spend enough time optimizing the game, and that's why we end up with the games, right, like in sub 1080p resolutions, really. I mean, some games are like 720p games, some games are 900p games, but I think it's getting better anyway, because if you look at the games that are actually releasing on Xbox One right now, most of these games are actually in 1080p, sometimes using dynamic resolution scaling, but I mean that's fine anyway, right? Look at the games like the latest, even third-party games like you know, the latest Dirt racer from what's their name? Sorry, Codemasters, or the Division. No, all these games you actually uses dynamic resolution scaling, but still, no, they hit 1080p most of the time anyway. So yeah, that's about the Esram. So the key to its sort of full key to the optimizing the Xbox One games are actually to use the Esram properly. And now they also talked about the extra processing power that Xbox One S apparently have. And this is something that Rod Ferguson spoke about just after E3. Rainer actually said that, okay, quote, "We render our games at 1080p with some extra computation to support HDR and hardware scaling to 4K resolutions if enabled. The Xbox One S allow us to add support for HDR and hardware scaled 4K output without additional demand on our game or compromising performance in any way." So what he's actually saying is that using HDR and 4K obviously requires some extra processing power, right? So they cannot really compromise any of the processing power that a standard Xbox One have, because then obviously you would end up with Xbox One S performing worse than the Xbox One. I mean the original Xbox One, right? Because you would use up some of its resources to run HDR and 4K scaling. So what they do is obviously they've added additional, I don't know whether that's CUs or something. This is not really clear how much more powerful Xbox One is, but this extra processing power is actually being used for the HDR support and 4K resolution, right? So that is actually confirming that Xbox One is actually more powerful. It is. Just like Rod Ferguson said. Now the question is, will developers be able to use it, in any sort of shape or form? And from what Rod Ferguson said, and he's actually the developer, he knows the stuff he talks about. There are some ways to actually gain access to those extra resources and use them for the better, for running the games better. Now, obviously, this is not really something that even Microsoft planned probably or something, or they really want to use, because they don't really want to segregate, the Xbox One family even more, because then you would end up with Xbox One. I mean, the current Xbox One being the least powerful console. Then you would have Xbox One S with some extra processing power, and obviously Xbox Scorpio at the top. So they will not really admit it, but there is some extra processing power that can be used for the games. Now also they've mentioned they've talked about the Gears of War Ultimate Edition and the sort of disaster it was on the PC. I mean, there were some technical issues, some limitation, etc., etc. And obviously, Rainer was asked about this as well. So he actually said that the Gears of War Ultimate Edition was a great learning experience for us. We were the first major DirectX 12 UWP title to market, and while we did have issues to work through at launch, we managed to get through them quickly. Speaking directly to our community was a big deal for us. post-launch, and they were fantastic at providing feedback, which we are adapting, while appropriate, into Gears 4. Our relationship with AMD and Nvidia is better than ever as we move towards Gears of 4 launch on Windows 10. They are looking at builds of the game today and are providing great feedback to get the best performance out of their respective hardware. We are confident people. We are confident people will have a great launch experience playing the game. Now, obviously, that's great news because Gears of War Ultimate Edition had quite a lot of limitations and didn't really, run best on PC. I'm sure it was rather an issue with a proper optimization of the game, because there was no issues on Xbox One, because on PC we end up with a game that didn't even run as good as on Xbox One, even if you owned a graphics card that was like 3 times more powerful than the Xbox One GPU. So it wasn't really a hardware issue that somebody was running the game on under specs PC. It was rather an issue with the drivers, optimization of the game, etc., which obviously do happen sometimes on PC. The recent Batman game was even basically cancelled at the end because they couldn't even handle that, really. I mean, I'm not talking about the Coalition, I'm talking about Warner Bros. But, there are a couple of examples where the console games, console game ports, really, end up on PC not being optimized and, they're not really playable. I mean, Gears of War Ultimate Edition is playable fine right now, so I mean it's still not running really the best, but you can play it without any issues right now, I guess. So anyway, that was a very interesting interview. I actually will go into more details probably shortly as well. Just want to analyze it more. I just wanted to let you know all these, the most important stuff out of this interview. And yeah, so let me know what you think about it, about the obviously extra processing power on Xbox One S, the whole DirectX 12 support, etc. So let me know what you think about it. Comment in the comment section below, hit the like button, subscribe, and you take care. Bye.
When we hijack the barge, let me drive. I think I've got a way to control it. It's all yours, Baird. Keep moving. What's in those cages? It's a keep out sign. Well, it almost worked. Looks like our barge. They've got to land sooner or later. Come on, or else we're gonna lose them. Heads up, guys. I think I saw movement out there. Whoa! It's heading our way! Spread out and keep moving! Shit, it's a corpser! Only smaller! Get out of the way! Take it out! They got plate armor on their legs! Aim for the head! We got grubs!
There's gotta be more of them.
Oh, I bet all his little ugly putties are out there somewhere.
Yeah, probably right where the barges are heading.
Called it! More grubs above us! Find her!